In this world, we're going to face people who are going to ridicule us for our faith. We're going to mock us for our faith. I remember when I was working in my corporate environment, I was working in the aerospace environment for about 14 years as an engineer, eventually a senior engineer. I was telling people what I really desire to do with my life. I really desire to be in ministry. I really desire to serve God full time, either as a missionary or as a pastor. And people always wonder why I chose these two professions as my ultimate goals in life, either to be a missionary or pastor. They knew that I was working as a senior engineer. They knew that my job was paying me pretty well. Why would I give up my job for a job that pays a lot less? And when I was telling people about my aspirations, people were making fun of me. They were saying, well, you're doing it for the money, because they were watching TV. They turn on TV Saturday morning and they would see these televangelists. And they knew that these televangelists were very rich. They would get money from the crowd, from the people who were coming to them. They're saying to me, you wanted to be one of the televangelists so that you can make more money. And these comments upset me because I was serving the Lord. I never was thinking about changing my profession for the money. If I ever become a pastor or missionary, I was going to do it because that's my heart's desire to serve the Lord. That's my devotion to God. I don't want to do it for any other reason other than my heart's devotion to put myself out there for the Lord. However, people of this world don't understand. They're thinking that you're doing it for other reasons. They're thinking you're doing it for selfish reasons. And they accuse me for doing things that are wrong in my own conscience. And these things which they are accusing me of upset me. And I think in this world, as you're telling people about Jesus, as you're telling people about your desire to serve God, people may not understand why you're doing such a thing, and they may mock you or ridicule you for your faith. And certainly that's what we find here in Psalm 119, verses 49 to 56. The psalmist is being mocked for his faith. But let's read through the section together and we can understand how he actually responds in being mocked for his faith. Verse 49, it says, "Remember your word to your servant, in which you have made me hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, that your promise gives me life. The insolent utterly derides me, but I do not turn away from your law. When I think of your rules from of old, I take comfort, O Lord. Hot indignation seizes me because of the wicked who forsake your law. Your statutes have been my songs in the house of my sojourning. I remember your name in the night, O Lord, and keep your law. The blessing has fallen to me that I kept your precepts." So the psalmist is taking comfort in God, even though he's being mocked. And it says that he's being mocked because here in verse 51 it says, "The insolent utterly derides me." And as the insolent utterly derides the psalmist, his response in verse 53 is, "Hot indignation seizes me." Like he's feeling anger in his heart because the wicked simply do not understand. They mock him for his faith. And we think of this, and it's easy for us to relate to the psalmist because he's feeling anger in his heart. We feel angry whenever other people mock us for our faith. And we would think that anger is the primary response in being mocked for our faith. However, what the psalmist actually does here is that he actually responds with comfort in the Lord. He does feel anger, but if you read through these 8 verses, only 2 of the verses here are speaking about being derided and him being angry for being derided for his faith in the Lord. But the rest of the 6 verses are comfort, being comforted in his affliction. That's in verse 50, and also in verse 54, "Your statutes have been my song in the house of my sojourning." He's been comforted, he's joyful in the Lord, even though he's being mocked for his faith. And thus we can see that the primary emotion of our faith in the Lord as we're mocked is comfort and joy. And what defines us as Christians is ultimately joy and a gentle spirit and not an angry spirit. Even though we do feel angry, as Ephesians chapter 4, verse 16 tells us, and verse 17 tells us that there is a righteous anger that we can feel, but that righteous anger is a short-lived anger. It's an anger that lasts only a little bit, but our primary emotion in the Lord is that of joy and peace and gentleness. So I want to use these words of the Lord to encourage you, to let you know that if you're mocked for your faith, to remember that there is a moment of feeling indignation, feeling anger, But your primary heart before the Lord should always be gentle spirit and comfort in the Lord as you're displaying this comforting and gentle spirit before the Lord and before others, the others are drawn to know the Lord as well.